If the point is to improve ourselves, what is the point of comparing our improvement to the standards of other people? Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Not Another Mindset Show. Today is another Ask Me Anything episode. I really love these episodes because instead of guessing and making assumptions about what you want to hear from me, you actually just get to ask me and I can answer it. So there's no guesswork involved on my end. And just so you know, you can ask me anything at any time. I do these episodes every so often. I really enjoy them again because I actually get to answer your questions. And there is a link in every single episode description that gives you a form that you can fill out. You don't necessarily have to give me your name. You can totally keep it anonymous. But if you would like to ask me a question, whether it's about mindset, research, business, myself, like personal questions about your clients, about the health mindset coaching certification, literally ask me anything. So that link is there for you in the description of every episode, including this one. So you can scroll down and check that out. I also do put up question boxes on my Instagram story every once in a while, asking for questions, and I will answer some of them on Instagram, but then store some of them away for this very moment. So if you would like to ask me a question, I would love to answer your question. So please do that. It also helps me out because I need questions in order to answer them inside these episodes. So please fill up that form for me so I have some to go off of next time. So I guess I'll say too, while you're in there, if you wouldn't mind, pretty please, leaving a 5-star review. We also give back when you do leave a review. You know, the good old law of reciprocity, you give me something, I'm gonna give you something back. So we do a giveaway every single month to the people who have left a review. So I say to the people who've left a review, it is a raffle. So we're choosing from the reviewers who's going to win a free workshop from me, like a DIY program that you can go through. And not a lot of people leave reviews. Not a lot of people take the whole 3 minutes it requires to leave 5 stars, write something nice, something that you enjoy about the podcast. And then what you do have to do after that is take a screenshot of your review and submit it to the review form, which is also linked in the description of every single episode. That is the only way we know how to contact you. So you have to leave that screenshot. You can just leave the review. I appreciate you nonetheless. But if you want to win a workshop from me, you do have to make sure that you put that into the review form that we have linked. Okay. So housekeeping things aside, let's get into some questions. I have 2 sort of mindset and coaching related questions to answer, and then also 2 personal about Kasey Jo type of questions. So this first one is honestly pretty long, but when I was reading through it and trying to see where I could maybe truncate it a little bit, I really think all of the context matters, especially if you're someone who's in a similar position as this person. So this person asked, how do you let go of fear when making a career change or taking a risk and betting on yourself? I work a relatively easy remote corporate job and make a $170K per year salary. But I feel deeply unfulfilled and uninspired. Sitting on countless meetings and doing work that doesn't make the world a better place makes me feel like I'm wasting my life, and it's hard to not feel at least a little depressed about how I spend the majority of my day. Man, and I'm sure there are a handful of you out there who maybe are just getting into the coaching space or haven't taken the leap yet, or you remember what it's like to be in a position like this where you're making decent money but really not enjoying your work and not feeling like you're getting fulfilled. So she says, I've been coaching for 3 years now, but I only got serious about online coaching about a year and a half ago. I make $2K a month from my coaching, which I'm working on growing. I also have my GI Bill. Thank you for your service. And I want to get my master's in exercise physiology next year, which I'm on track for. Taking the leap to get my master's and coaching full time is all I want to do, but I'm scared of losing a really good, safe, stable income for me and my family and regretting my decision a few years if it doesn't work out. My 9 to 5 sector is not doing so well right now, so if I leave, I'm not guaranteed to be able to get a job back quickly. Okay, so that's the question. We're really talking about fear of making a career change and risk taking. Um, I will say it probably does feel like every day is wasted right now. Now I'm answering this question, right? I'm speaking to this person, but also speaking to any of you out there who might be in a similar position. It might feel that every day that is passing right now is another day wasted, which is going to feel that way until you have at least somewhat of a more concrete timeline. I think it will make you feel really good, like even give you just like some immediate instant gratification type of relief. If you were to sit down, and I think she said, yeah, has a family, so maybe a spouse potentially or significant other, sit down with them and share how you're feeling. I'm sure you probably have already. If you haven't, that needs to be step number one. But sit down with them and together maybe map out all of the different optional routes you could take, from literally putting in your notice tomorrow, from, okay, from a year today, I want to be putting my notice in. So, and there could be something in between there. There may also be an option for you to go to more of like a part-time position. I'm not sure. I don't know enough about your work. But basically, really laying out all the different routes and options, and like take your time with this. This is not something to just be like, oh, option A, leave tomorrow. Option B, leave next year. Option A is leave tomorrow. What would need to happen if you do that? What would things look like if you do that? What would the income hit to your family look like? What would the downstream effects of that look like? How would it make you feel? How would it make your family feel? What would it mean in all of these different capacities? So, and I say this is going to make you feel immediately better because as humans, we like to feel stable and like we have control over things. It's truly an innately biological thing that we want to feel in control, because if we're in control, that means things are predictable. And if things are predictable, then that we are safe and secure and we are going to survive as a species, right? So that's really where it all boils down to. So even just taking some time to map that all out and have your support system there with you, if you can, is going to make you feel immediately better. So I would say that's kind of like a good step one. I'm kind of looking over your question again here now to see what else is coming up for me. I would think about how much you would need to make in your coaching business in order for it to feel okay. Maybe it doesn't have to be equivalent to that 170K per year salary. If you're making 2K a month right now, if you were to get to 5K a month, is that enough for you to feel like I can leave this, I'm being dramatic here, but this soul-sucking corporate position and take the leap and then dive into my coaching business? So at that point, I know I'm bringing in 5K a month and I can have so much more time available to me in order to continue to grow. So I hear too that you said that it's a relatively easy and remote position. So I'm hoping that that means there's still some hours in your day where you can work on getting to that 5K a month mark to get to that point where you feel confident enough that you can leave. If the answer is I need to be making 10 to 15K a month before, and that's what makes the most sense for my family and our situation, then that's that. But like you only you know this. And you do need to take some time to just like sit down and figure out. Like I'm telling you, like some Saturday afternoon in the future, sit down for 3 to 4 hours, pour a glass of wine, if you're into that, and sit down and map all of this out, okay? One thing I will note, and this is honestly really good for everyone out there, business ownership very rarely, if ever, feels entirely stable. So you're going to have up months, you're going to have down months, you're going to have things that blow all of your beliefs of what is possible out of the water. And then you're going to have times where you are regretting your choice and you should have stayed in the corporate world because that's more stable. So I do need you to know that it's not going to feel as stable and predictable. However, like the flip side of this coin in this discussion is, especially, I think you said my 9 to 5 job sector is not doing well right now for hiring. So not doing well right now for hiring, meaning they're not really bringing more people on. See, I think that there's a little bit of a belief that corporate 9 to 5s are more stable and they're more safe, when the reality is someone could let you go tomorrow, right? Also, that might be kind of like an interesting thought exercise for you. What if you got let go tomorrow because of budget cuts, or because someone else is getting promoted and now they don't have a place for you to go anymore? What would that mean what would that feel like? What would it mean for you? Because now, does that just mean, oh, well, I've got a massive fire under my ass to get my coaching business going because I don't even have this job anymore? Kind of would be interesting for you to think about. So yeah, are you okay with a lack of stability? It's sort of like there may be this the lack of stability and unpredictability that is in business. Yes, I'm saying there's a piece of that in the corporate world that I think we forget about sometimes, but is the risk of a little bit less income, maybe especially for a period of time, not being able to always predict exactly what every month is going to look like, exactly what every year is going to look like, learning new things and all of the challenges that come with that, is taking all of that on worth it if it means you get to be more fulfilled on a day-to-day basis? You get to love what you're really doing. You get to feel like it's something of your own instead of working for someone else, whatever that is for you. Ultimately, is that risk worth it if it means you can remove yourself from the position you're in now? Because, my friend, if the answer is yes, then that is your answer. And then it really means, like, let's figure out, sit down, map everything out, whatever. I would still sit down and map everything out regardless of your feelings towards that question, or maybe you're not entirely sure. I think it's clarity. You need to get more clarity, and more clarity comes with more information, whether that's information from yourself or, again, like sitting down with your partner and mapping out all these different options. I think answers will come to you even more so when you're doing that. Like, you may find yourself mapping out all these different options and going, oh my gosh, this is making me so excited that a year from today, if I can follow this and do this, that means I could leave this job. And then now you're not going back into your work right now in your current position in the corporate world, feeling like, oh, I'm just wasting every single day. It's like, no, I'm actually currently still here because I'm working towards something else. So, okay. I feel for you though. It's tough. I love to hear that you have found something else that does feel more fulfilling to you. You know, there's like this conversation all the time around how, what is the cliche phrase? Do what you love for work and you'll never work a day in your life type of thing. Number one, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I am obsessed with the work that I get to do. That does not mean I don't feel like I have to go to work sometimes. Actually, last night I was still on my computer until 11:30 p.m. and you're looking at the girl who's usually crawling into bed at like 8 p.m. and reading her little vampire book. And yeah, and that felt like work, but we got deadlines still. We have to squeeze things into weeks when we don't necessarily want to. There are definitely times where things still feel like work, right? I mean, I've definitely talked to you guys before about how when I have to sit down and map out podcasts and sit down and do it, it's like there's a massive amount of friction to all of that for me. This is my favorite part of the podcast, when I actually get to sit down and talk. But the whole mapping out outlines beforehand, setting up the cameras and the lights and all of that stuff, and then uploading it and sending it off to the editor, and yeah, no, not like doing any of that. But long story short, just massive tangent alert. So obviously there's still something to that, because I wouldn't want to be doing anything else than what I'm doing right now. And I will say there is a lot of quote unquote motivation. It's not quote unquote, it's totally intrinsic motivation. And I've talked about intrinsic motivation on the podcast before. Feeling like you actually enjoy something, you're going to be more motivated to do it. So I'm very intrinsically motivated in my career because I really do enjoy the topics that I'm talking about, the work that I'm doing, helping people, the podcast, right? So yeah, I am really happy for you that it seems like you already have another path that is giving you that. So, but just know it doesn't mean that it's all going to be, and you know this, sunshine and rainbows, predictability, safety, stability, work, difficult challenges. I say this all the time. Being a business owner is the biggest mindset exercise that exists, biggest and most constant mindset exercise, especially when you start to be responsible for other people's income and other people's work and hundreds and hundreds of students and podcast listeners, right? So yeah, okay. I'm going to stop there before I just like keep going from tangent to tangent. All right. Next question I have. Someone asked, when clients struggle to celebrate small wins, that's kind of what we're talking about here, how to handle / coach clients through their inner saboteur that tells them not to celebrate the small wins they're working on and experiencing because they aren't that big of a deal. I just had a call with a client who shared that when her watch, like fitness watch, celebrates her 5K step goal, she's for a moment excited and then has a voice come in and tell her that it's not that impressive and it's a basic activity that most people are already doing all of the time. Also, I love your show. Oh, this is just a nice part. I'll read it anyway. So you all can hear it. Also, I love your show and I will definitely be signing up for HMCC when I can. Oh, I'm so glad. I hope we can have you because honestly, talking about clients not celebrating small wins or not seeing what they're doing as worth it or worthy or enough, not feeling like they're good enough, that is definitely topics that we go over inside the Health Mindset Coaching certification and give you tools for. So what can I share with you now? I'm trying to think of like a parallel example maybe for my life or that would make sense for you guys too. Let's say I decided to get into running, since that's what everybody seems to be doing these days, and I don't understand why. Guys, I literally was in soccer when I was probably like 7 years old. Weren't we all? And I begged and begged and begged my parents to quit because of how much I hated the running. And, you know, a lot of things have changed since I was 7 years old, but that has not. Okay. But if I decided to get in running, I'd be probably running like a 10+ minute mile, if we're being so honest. And if I were to be able to get it down to a under 9-minute mile time, even 9 minutes, that would be worth celebrating to me because it's better than I've done previously. So I'm using this as an example because, of course, there are a lot of people out there who are running less than a 10-minute mile, less than a 9-minute mile, less than an 8-minute mile, right? And some people who are like me that aren't runners could still go out and run a couple miles in under 10 minutes. Maybe I could. I really don't think I could. But they could beat me in their first time out. But why does that have anything to do with me starting out at a 10-minute mile and going to a 9-minute mile? Just because someone else may be able to do it better than me, whether or not they have had more practice, whether or not they are a quote unquote runner, why does that have anything to do with my personal improvements and the meaning that I assign to it? It really doesn't, right? But we are so quick to compare ourselves to other people, even though it's really unnecessary and doesn't mean anything. Especially now if we're talking, I'm using all this as context, so please stick with me here. So this client that the person is asking from this question is seeing her 5K steps as this is something that most people do in their normal days, or that they're easily hitting, or most people are hitting 10K. Why would I celebrate 5K? It doesn't mean that the people who are hitting 10K always hit 10K. Like there's a very good chance they were only hitting 5K at one point. doesn't mean that they're better than you or that's normal. Just because, for instance, I was just in New York City a little bit ago, and without trying, I was hitting 15 to 19,000 steps a day, just like going from place to place and walking around and not even recognizing it, right? So comparing someone else's situation who lives in New York City compared to you who lives maybe in the middle of nowhere and you work from home, like it's a lot harder for you, right? So it requires more conscious effort and everything. So the point is we want to improve ourselves. So I would maybe even ask this client, and for those of you out there who have clients who are struggling to celebrate small wins, little pieces of progress, we'll call them, to ask them, what is the point of hitting a step goal for them? Like, what is the point? And what is the point of going from 2K steps to 5K steps, from 5K steps to 8K steps, from 8K steps to 10K steps? Like, why are we doing that? And hopefully they come back and be like, well, I want to get healthier. I want to feel better. I want to have more energy. I want to lose weight. Like, I want to improve myself. And if the point is to improve ourselves, what is the point of comparing our improvement to the standards of other people? That it just like it's backwards, right? So I would maybe ask her more questions about why her wins are dependent on what other people are doing. Like truly ask, because there's a way that you can ask this that's going to sound condescending, and that's not what I'm trying to do here. Like really, like why is it that instead of just sitting with the, oh, I feel really good about my 5K steps, that it can't just end there? Why does it have to turn into, well, other people get that so easily and I shouldn't be celebrating it? Why not? Like literally, I think that needs to be a conversation. It's honestly like super normal to compare ourselves to other people and to seek like a goalpost, right? From what we believe is good based on other people. We see this a lot like in business too, with hitting 10K months. Like if I'm not doing that, or if so-and-so is doing 20K months in their business, and then I should be doing that too. We're looking for a goalpost. We're looking for something to work towards, but which fine if you want to do that and use it as inspiration, that so-and-so is making 20K a month, so-and-so is getting 10K steps a day. Honey, all that means is that it's possible for you. Someone else is doing it. That means that you can do it too. If I was trying to hit a 4-minute mile, people have ran 4-minute miles, right? If I was trying to hit a 3-minute mile, something that has not been done, I don't clearly know nothing about running. I don't think that seems, no one's ran a 3-minute mile, Kasey. If I was trying to do that, like that's an unrealistic standard because it hasn't been done, but we know people have ran 6 or 7-minute miles, right? Like obviously. So, or even for me, if I'm calling it a 10-minute mile for me, I know people run 8-minute miles all the time. So instead of me going, God, my 10-minute mile sucks, and all these other people run 8-minute miles, I could go, I'm still learning. I'm still getting better. I haven't been running since I was 7 years old and played soccer and then quit. So that means I have the ability to run an 8-minute mile. There's so many other people that can do it. I bet the average is probably like 8.5, right? I need to stop. But I can look at that and go, I know that's possible for me, but it doesn't mean I need to compare myself to that. I'm not good enough because I'm not that. It just means, cool, now I have something to work towards. It's sort of like that goalpost conversation, right? Another thing too. 2 things can exist at the same time. It is okay to hit 5K steps and celebrate those 5K steps and want to do more and want to hit 8K steps. You can celebrate your 5K steps and also want to have more steps in a day. So yeah, anyway, I think wrapping this up, the piece I'd be most curious for her to dive into more with is the comparison piece. And there's like always, and this is a lesson for all of you with everything, there's always going to be someone out there, maybe multiple people, who are doing more, doing better than you are in any given area, right? But is there a way for you to see that as inspirational? And that means that's something that I'm capable of doing too, rather than seeing it as I'm not good enough because that person is doing it and I'm not yet. But yet is the key word. It's still possible for you. Okay, wow. What a very long and convoluted answer to that question. I hope there was a lot of other my goal was to answer both of those questions with giving you guys a little bit more like nuggets, things to chew on, things to think about, both for yourself, your own mindset, your clients, and other kind of maybe parallel scenarios. So I hope that was helpful. Okay. The last two questions are personal, get to know Kasey questions. Question. What made you decide to stop one-on-one fitness coaching? Okay. So for those of you who are newer to the podcast or newer to me, I started fitness coaching in 2016. So I've been in the coaching space for almost a decade at this point. I built a team of coaches and went full-time in my coaching business in 2019. And that was running then alongside the health mindset coaching certification, which I launched in 2020. So it truly just got to the point, which I'm sure anyone can imagine, where running a health and fitness coaching company with 3 to 6 assistant coaches working underneath me, plus running a certification for health and fitness coaches, a live program, and the launching that goes on behind that. And I was running 2 separate companies, and that is a lot for one person. And yes, I have team and people who are supporting me, but it was a lot. It was a lot, and honestly got to the point, for being so honest, that I don't feel like I was being a very good leader. I was pulled in too many different directions, too many people to manage. Even when I would try to outsource things and put managers in place to take care of other people, I just felt like I was getting too far removed from things, and I was really struggling. So the truth is, I love the coaching space. I love all you health and fitness coaches out there. And I still honestly identify as a health and fitness coach. I am Coach Kasey Jo on Instagram for a reason. I am not Dr. Kasey Jo on Instagram. I'm not Kasey Orvidas PhD on Instagram. I am Coach Kasey Jo because I am a coach first. And that's the lens that I see a lot of things through. And I still see myself as a coach, whether it's business or mentoring coaches on coaching practices. I'm coaching you on this podcast, am I not? Anyway. The impact that I can have is what's important to me, what's most important to me rather. So with one-on-one health and fitness coaching, we could work with people one-on-one. With the health mindset coaching certification, I can have one student, one coach come through the program who has 50 clients of their own. Right? So if we're having 100 students in a cohort of the health mindset coaching certification, which is around what we typically have, and even on average, if each coach has 20, we're like, oh my God, 2,000 people's lives impacted, right? So the impact is far greater that I can give with the health mindset coaching certification. It's also a more unique thing and something that the health and fitness coaching industry needs so badly. Mindset, behavior change, psychology, support for coaches to help their clients stick to the plan and stop self-sabotage and increase adherence and ultimately change more people's lives. Can you tell why I made my decision? It's almost like I am having to defend my decision by this question, which is interesting. Do you see? This is my own mindset work right now. I'm immediately why did I go this way with the question where I felt like I had to really defend why I made the decision? Maybe not, because it really was what made you decide to stop one-on-one fitness coaching. And this is the full story. I also something I would love to share is I have a really real, not to get too woo-woo on you guys, but a really real and very, very clear knowing that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And it is the most obvious smack me in my face type of feeling when I get off live calls, live discussion calls with health mindset coaching certification students, whether it's in the live cohorts that we're running or with our alumni group, or even when I'm teaching on like guest podcast or guest training, speaking on stage about this stuff. Afterwards, during and afterwards, the podcast included, during and afterwards, I'm like, oh my God, I am meant to be here. This is the work that I'm meant to do. I just get so fired up. I feel so aligned. I'm so excited. And the response that I have from students and audience and podcast listeners just reaffirms those feelings too. So that's a big part of it too. Not that I never felt that way with coaching. It just really feels like that this is the place that I'm supposed to be. Anything else on that? I have learned from business mentors and friends who own successful businesses, it really, really seems like those who are most successful get really fucking good at one thing. So when I'm feeling pulled in two separate directions with the one-on-one fitness coaching business and then the certification, it's like, can I really do both of these things really, really, really well? And to be honest, it became very clear that the answer to that was no. So this was a let's fully focus on this one main offer, the health mindset coaching certification. Of course, I have some other lower ticket DIY products and programs. Those are the things that we give away to you when you leave a review and you submit it on the review form that I talked about at the beginning of the episode. I do some business mentorship, speaking, various other ways that we bring revenue into the business, but the main goal is the focus on the health mindset coaching certification. And I made that decision at the end of 2024, so not that long ago. I'm recording this like, what is it, September 2025? You're probably listening to this in December or January. And I'm really, really happy with the decision. Really happy. Okay. Final question. And here's the one we've all been waiting for. What else can we ask Kasey about her dating life? It's literally all the time. But I'm just joking because it's fun and I understand what it's like to be like, "Oh, I know this girl as a mindset researcher and a mentor and a teacher and an educator, but like she's single and 32 and what's going on over there?" The question is, how's the dating scene in Austin treating you? And would you ever consider a matchmaking service? I thought this was so funny. Which also I'm like, did the person who leave this question, because it was I think this one came from my anonymous question box on Instagram. I'm like, do you run a matchmaking service? Is this your way of asking me? Or do you want to be match made with me? Anyway, let me answer the first one. How's the dating scene in Austin treating you? I mean, not fabulously. But also it is what you make it, right? And I don't fully believe that the dating scene is fabulous in any city, right? Like it's hard out here, okay? Jeez. I have only seriously dated a couple people in the last 2.5, almost 3 years. Whoa. And only for like a few months at a time. And both of them, great guys. In fact, I am still close friends with both of them. Talk to them frequently. But didn't work out. But to me, it's like, okay, I've dated 2 people pretty seriously in the last 3 years. And both of those people were very close to the person that I would want to be with ultimately. There's just like some things missing. Outside of that, dating apps, I'm not really fond of. It just, to me, it feels just kind of more like a time suck. I also like had this thought the other day, and I'm wondering if maybe you guys, especially those of you who are single, but this is where my psychology brain goes. Like, is it really a good thing? Like, I see the benefit of dating apps allowing you to meet people that you wouldn't have met otherwise. Cool, right? Connect you with people that maybe you wouldn't have ran into because they live in a different part of town or whatever. But then I can't help but think, are we then like screwing with the system? Like if we are supposed to, if we're most compatible historically with the people who are like in our neighborhoods and are going to the same coffee shops and are at the gyms and are friends of friends or friends of family members or enjoy the same activities as us and that's why we ran into them, like that, all of those things set you up to be more compatible. And so if we're plucking people out of the dating apps, granted, yes, there's an aspect of compatibility on there, you know, photos, prompts, all of that. You can like, does this person want to get married, or are they setting their status of relationship looking as still trying to figure it out, which is just like, why are you even on dating apps then? That's a story for another time. Are we just kind of like rigging the system by connecting with people that maybe, yeah, we wouldn't have connected with otherwise, but like maybe for a good reason? I don't know. I spent some time thinking about this recently, so I actually think it's funny that this question was asked. Not the question had nothing to do with dating apps, but dating in Austin. Yeah, I am in Austin, Texas. It's a lot of people between the ages of 25 and 35. I'm 32. Actually, by the time you listen to this episode, I will probably be 33. But it's been fine. It's been fun. Like I have fun with dating. I enjoy meeting people. I enjoy connecting with people. Obviously, I'm very interested in human behavior, and I would be lying if I said I didn't think often going on dates and talking to people was just kind of like a big social experiment for me. But hey, intrinsic motivation. I enjoy it because it's like a social experiment, so I'm going to do it more. But outside of that, would you ever consider a matchmaking service is the other part of this. And we'll wrap this up because I fear that my tangents will just get more and more inappropriate for the podcast. It's not necessary to get into. Would I consider a matchmaking service? I mean, why not? Sure. I'm kind of like down for anything, you know? I don't know if I would, I've never been on a blind date. I think I would go on a blind date if someone was like, I really think you'd be very compatible and I can like vouch for you, like potentially having chemistry, finding them attractive, something like that. I would have fun with that, especially if it was like, yeah, like a friend that was setting that up. So if you got a blind date for me in mind and you want to bring them to Austin, okay, Kasey, stop, wrap it up. Yeah, I would consider a matchmaking service. Literally, why not? I have like so many fun stories from my life as a single lady and just like saying yes to things and meeting people. And I call it with my friends like single girl energy. It's sort of like a, yeah, sure, let's go. Let's go find out. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. Not that I wouldn't go do things if I was in a relationship. I don't become like a hermit in those cases. But there is like a little aspect of, you get what I'm saying if you're single. Like, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. I should probably just stop there. That got a little bit chaotic at the end, but I hope it was enjoyable for you. It is, the contrast within this episode is hilarious, but that is me. That is me in a nutshell. We're going to talk research and academic stuff and coaching strategies and certifications and making the world a better place. And then we're going to talk about matchmaking services. Welcome to my life. Okay, my friends, I'm going to wrap it up there. I hope you enjoyed this episode and at least maybe got to laugh along with me a little bit at the end. Remember, if you want to ask me a question, I really do have so much fun with this. Just like, why don't you just go in and put the weirdest, most off the wall questions in there? Doesn't even have to be that serious, okay? I would love to do that. Just like the weirdest questions. Maybe I will do that. Put that on my Instagram story. Like, give me your weirdest question. I'm going to do a weird question Q&A on my podcast. Would you see? I'm like, that would be fun for me. I don't care if you guys want to. I don't care. I do care. I care more if you guys actually find it interesting. So maybe let me know what you think of that idea before we run with it. But I'm going to end there. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop talking now. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next week.